Hi, I'm Michelle from Living Prairie Kennels. I would like to talk to you today about separation anxiety. Is your puppy like getting really anxious every time you leave the room? You put him in his crate and he's just screaming and barking and freaking out? That is called separation anxiety, and it's really, really stressful for your dog. Because we've been home so much, we have totally forgotten to prepare our puppies or our dogs for being home alone again. So we need to start practicing now before you go back to work. So how do we do this? Make sure that even if you're home during the day, at least 3 times a day, put your dog in his crate. Make sure they've gone to the bathroom. Make sure they've been for a walk or you've done some training, some brain work. Make sure your pup is tired. Then put a food toy or a chew toy into his crate and put him in there, really for no reason at all, just for him to be in his crate by himself. This will really help when you are leaving home. So make sure you do this several times a day, even if you're not leaving the house, even if your pup is just in a separate room. Go downstairs and leave the dog in there for 20 minutes or half an hour. Make sure that, he gets comfortable. The biggest thing is if your puppy is freaking out, don't go let him out. Let him settle down before you let him out of his crate. This is extremely important. If your dog is crying and barking and freaking out and you go back and you let him out of there, he has won that battle, and it's going to be hard on him when nobody comes back. So what if you have to go back to work or back to school? You got to go, and you can't just take the dog with you all the time. So several times a day, even if you're at home, make sure you go and put that dog in a separate area or in his crate and start practicing this again. What do you do if the dog doesn't settle? Make sure that you're there, but don't be right in front of the cage. Don't be talking to your dog and cooing him and, oh my gosh, you'll be okay. Because what that does, it projects that you're worried about him, and the dog gets worried too, and it stresses him out even more. So if the dog is really having a hard time, sit a few feet away from that crate and just let him cry it out. Let him, figure it out that the crate is not opening until he settles down. So then when the dog does settle down, then you're right there to let him out. Make sure the dog is calmed down, at least sitting, not screaming or anything. And as soon as the dog is calm, then you can pop that gate and let him out and praise him when he comes out. And then again later on, try again. If your dog is not crate trained, this is going to be extremely important. The other thing is too, what a lot of people do is when they're leaving home, they're putting their dog in the crate or they're in their area, and they get all worried, and they're like, "You'll be okay, mommy will be home soon, it won't be too long." So what you're doing is you're projecting an unstable energy because you're actually worried. You're not trusting that the dog is going to be okay. So when you are ready to leave, don't make a big deal out of it. You've gone for a walk. You've made sure the dog is tired. You make sure the dog is safe. Just close the door and walk out. Don't make a big deal. He'll be okay. So this is really important. Separation anxiety is extremely, extremely stressful for your dog. So right now, go and start practicing, because our dogs will have to be home alone at times. So make sure you practice this several times a day, even if you don't have to go away from home. Help your dog. Make sure he's happy to be home alone. Most of the time they're going to sleep anyways. That's what they do when they're waiting. All right, enjoy your day, and I'll talk to you again soon.